All right. I made my first two videos copying, uh, basically looking at images from Skycams and Mexico Skycams. We were noting the different light sources, but a lot of good people doing that. WTF Sky was doing it. She also stopped doing it like I'm going to do. If you want to see that, you can go to Steve Dwyer's webpage. He does a really great job. Uh, I've decided to start trying to focus on pictures that I can actually take and documenting things around here in southeast Georgia. Uh, this was from the 17th, St. Patrick's Day, actually, on Tybee Island. Uh, Went out really early before sunrise, see if I could catch a glimpse or anything odd. Uh, right here's where the sun was going to come up. A really pretty sky. Unfortunately, this haze covered the whole horizon. Once you got above this point here, though, it was fairly clear. Uh, I was really hoping that once it got here, we'd be able to see some good views of the sun. Not exactly what happened. There were some uh, interesting things about this time. If we look here on this video to the south, which is this way, there is a good bit of light coming from here and here. Uh, the sun, of course, was coming up here, but to the north, it was completely dark. So that was an interesting thing to notice. Uh, Now, what I started to notice as the day went along, you can kind of see it here. These strange clouds here, they were really thin, strange clouds. I've never really seen anything like them. They started to come in from behind and just pile in here in front of the horizon. Here in this next picture, uh, this is only about 6 minutes before, and you can see these little strange clouds are really starting to just come into the horizon and just pile in there. Uh, the weird thing is, when I noticed it, I was watching this particular cloud. It came from the left hand side and just moved across in front of me, and then this front edge stopped right here. And all of these other little clouds, they kind of backed up like it was a traffic jam, and they just moved to the horizon. You can see here already, this is about 12 minutes after the first picture I showed you where the horizon was pretty open above this point. They've already piled in here, starting to block higher and higher levels. No chemtrailing going on early in the morning. But watch these clouds. You can see them there. They're just moving out, covering the horizon. That does not seem normal that they would come from the right or the left and then just stop and go right out to it. Really strange. There's also this, looks like some kind of an arc of light, which is kind of strange. Uh, Not much I can prove about that. Here about 7:37, the chemtrailing started pretty heavy. Uh, these clouds continued to move in just over and over and over. It got to the point, you can see here as I go through more of these weird clouds, it got to the point that it got really high up in the sky here. I mean, you can kind of look here as I go through them. They just piled in on top of the sun. Really couldn't get any good views. Now, this here is a good representation of these things. Uh, these are what I believe to be HAARP clouds. If you don't know what HAARP clouds are, you can go here to Google Images and just search HAARP clouds. And look at here. These, if you don't know what HAARP is, it uses radio frequency to basically manipulate the weather, cause clouds, move clouds in certain directions. Dr. Nick Begich has some great research out there on it. He's an expert if you want to see what he's got to say about it. But this right here is very similar to what I'm seeing here at the beach. Uh, I believe HAARP's being used to push these things out to cover the horizon early in the morning. Uh, I didn't have any thought about that before I went out here, but just being out there seeing the way this progressed. Look at all these things just piling in. This is 8:01. This is 30 minutes after sunrise. It's only about 30 minutes after that first picture where none of these were here. It's actually goes, so high up. You can see here from this faraway picture. It kind of goes up to a pyramid because these clouds are coming from both directions, and they just went way up into the sky to the point where you could not look at that. Just crazy. All the way up, covering the whole horizon where the sun's going to be. I did get some really pretty shots here, but the way these clouds came in, there was really no way to see at all what was going on behind them. Now, the other thing that made this really bizarre is when it got to be 8:35, once it reached this point in the sky, all of these clouds that were there just evaporated. They were just gone. Uh, I can't really explain that either. This is when I was leaving. Look, they're all gone. Every one of them. A few couple little patches here, but all of those clouds just left. This is 8:39, and that's the only couple clouds left, where before, when the sun was down in this area, it was covering this whole area. Very, very strange. So I do believe that there was some extra light source over here on the southern end of the beach compared to the north, which was very dark as the sun came up. Uh, I did learn the HAARP clouds were present and they were being pushed out there. There's no doubt in my mind. Also learned a little something about using a welding glass, or some of the pictures you see online without a welding glass from certain cameras may have this same thing. And look at that. That's great. When you click here, everybody's probably seen this image, something similar. I took this on the beach that day. There is what people are photographing, saying that is part of the system. And I even took a video here. You can see lens flare, but this is not moving, which a lot of people want to say that means that is a real object. It is not. It had me fooled too, which is why I took the welding glass out there. I couldn't see it through the welding glass without the camera, and I'm sure I could have posted that and convinced a lot of people, but I don't want to do that. I want to find out the truth about this thing. What I did, the next video shows what is actually going on. When you look through the camera and through the welding glass, you can see same thing here. It's moved, which it's suspicious right off the bat. But unlike with a normal lens flare, when you move the camera, the lens flare moves as long as the glass is stable. This image is actually not a lens flare. It's a reflection off of that welding glass. And I'll show you right here once I move the welding glass. There it is. So those images a lot of times are not actual images of objects. I've also made some contacts around the country and had other people take some videos and pictures, and certain objects will only show up in one of their cameras, or they can't see them with the naked eye. Those images are just some sort of reflection, either off of the camera, off of a welding glass. That's it for this one. Hopefully we'll have some more cool stuff coming up, and I will be glad to share it with you.